As we have heard during evidence at the inquest, in the final weeks of her life, Mia was suffering from a potentially treatable disorder, an inflammation of the brain that can cause extreme psychiatric symptoms. Blood tests have now conclusively proved that she had autoimmune encephalitis, causing her acute psychosis. It means she was wrongly sectioned under the Mental Health Act at the Queen's Medical Centre in Nottingham, which decided there was no underlying physical cause of her psychosis. We heard evidence from experts that Queen's Medical Centre should have carried out more investigations than the blood test and MRI scan which were performed before Mia was transferred to the Beckton Centre mental health facility. Had a fluid test for a lumbar puncture been taken and a brain wave scan, her condition may have been identified and treated successfully. We've heard many comments about lessons being learned as a result of what happened to Mia, and those learnings will hopefully help to avoid other families losing their children to the condition, as they will hopefully receive the required testing and treatment in hospital that they need. Nothing, however, can change the impact on Mia and her loved ones. Mia lost her life, and her family lost a beautiful girl. When they needed specialist healthcare support, it failed.
For the past 2 weeks, the world has seen many pictures of my beautiful little girl, Mia, in the media. Pictures which have shown exactly the kind of girl she was, a happy, fun, friendly girl who had so much to live for. Mia lost her life through an illness, a rare brain condition, and a failure to provide appropriate care to her in her time of need. Her illness led to a sudden change in her character and behaviour, causing extreme emotional outbursts. We want everyone to know that Mia was like this for only the few final weeks of her life when she was seriously ill, and that is why we sought specialist help for her. For the other 12 years, she was a beautiful soul who loved life and loved her family, and that's how we want her to be remembered. These past 2 weeks have been at times unbearable, sitting and listening to how Mia was failed. It has been devastating to listen to how, when she needed the specialist healthcare for the first time in her life, she was so badly let down. She was let down at the Queen's Medical Centre in Nottingham, who wrongly decided there was no underlying physical cause of her psychosis and failed to carry out appropriate testing. I believe they simply dismissed her and looked to pass her on to mental health services as quickly as possible, which led to her transfer to the Beckton Centre. Her mental health spiralled deeper out of control there, as she was not being treated for her condition, and the many failings and lack of care meant sadly she wasn't properly protected from harming herself. We now know that Mia was suffering from a treatable brain condition, autoimmune encephalitis, which we as a family have only just found out this week during the inquest. Yet she was sectioned to the Beckton Centre, a facility which proved to be completely unsuitable for her and one which failed to keep her safe. Mia's medical cause of death, changing now, nearly 2 years later after her passing, is heartbreaking, but also shows the failures and the fight that we've had to endure. My beautiful little girl has lost her life, and I will never forgive the Queen's Medical Centre or the Beckton Centre for failing her. Whilst Mia was let down by so many, we want to thank those who have worked so hard to bring out the truth. Firstly, our legal team, Amy Rossell of Hudrell Solicitors and Karen Boyle of Park Lane Plowden, who have been by our side throughout and ensured this inquest has heard the evidence it needed to. I also want to personally thank pathologist Professor Marty Cohen, who was so passionate and determined to get to the root cause of Mia's illness, leading to confirmation that Mia had autoimmune encephalitis. I have never believed for a moment that Mia ever wanted to take her own life. She was always a happy, healthy child and had so much to live for. I have agreed that Mia's samples, which were frozen after her death, can now be used for further research and educational purposes to help others. I'll continue to fight for full accountability and justice for Mia being denied the amazing life I know she would have gone to enjoy.